You're on your way to an island. Yes, another island. Sorry, Melville. Well, it actually used to be a valley between the mountains, but it's mostly flooded now. That probably happened long before the founder came here, though.
Another legacy of our ancestors.
Do me a favor, will you? Look for another one of the founder's labs. We can't get back into the megastructure without getting to the third site in the north, but I need more information to make more fixes.
Hello, 1K. Our ancestors thought they could introduce new species to existing ecosystems, and it never turned out. There's no life there now, but you can't see the future. You might be wiping out a whole ecosystem that hasn't even gotten started yet.
In the beginning, before we built New Jerusalem, we used to explore just like this. Small groups setting out for the horizon, looking for resources, trying to make sense of the world we'd been thrust into, trying to find a way forward. It was a hard time, but I can't deny that it was also exciting. I think it's part of our nature to be wanderers. Our ancestors crossed entire oceans on flimsy wooden boats, just to see what else there was.
Is it weird to feel nostalgic for a time I never experienced? I just think I could have contributed so much more back then.
It's not weird, but it wasn't all sunshine. People died. Yemo, Calvin, Isaac.
I know, Al. They were family to me.
Sorry. It didn't mean to reopen old wounds.
It's a legitimate point, but I don't think it invalidates the sense of wonder we felt. That's what kept us going.
There's a lot of idiots out there. That's just the way it is. Nothing you can do about it. Oh, I don't know. He's not been on. So maybe. It's finished it. Oh. Alright, just was playing some Fallout 76 earlier with a 69-year-old. It was really funny. His wife came in at one point. It's just funny, isn't it? It's the fact that other people's lives are just going on. Yeah. You're an alien who is just Why? Big clumpy ones. Huh. Why? What is it you were?
There's
is it like
so
really
much
obvious
history
then?
here that we can't see. The founder must have walked these paths hundreds of times, maybe thousands. Miranda must have stood right where we're standing. This all looks alien to us, but it must have been familiar to them.
If this was their home,
Yeah,
where
what
are
do you
they
say?
now?
They must be inside the megastructure, waiting for us to pass the test. It's the only
Yeah.
thing that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm gonna be going. Oh, right, okay. Wait a minute, no, that doesn't explain anything. Oh yeah, it does. Huh? What? No. It's not possible. Unless... yeah. It's gotta be it. There's another layer to it. No! No. Oh my god, that's made it impossible. Hot dog. Hot dog, man. Oh, on the wrong bloody side. Ah. Oh my god. No. Gangster.
Well done, 1K. Keep going.
What does he want? A pat on the head? A little patty pat? A bit of love. Oh, can I see anything in this one, laddie? Alright, Sunny Jim. Oh, it's okay. Cold-blooded. Cold-blooded killer.
Is it possible that on some level, people want to believe that everything's going to get worse? That it's comforting to think that humanity is bad and every solution will just go wrong? Because that way you're never responsible. You never have to take on responsibility for anything outside yourself. Never have to grow up.
This is where they must have lived. Athena and Miranda. You know, for a moment, I almost... But the only thing that's still functional. I'm sorry. This must be awfully strange for you being thrown into all this history. But that's why I needed you. Because you're not burdened with all these way on our minds like a nut. Our civilization is cool. We freed ourselves from the simulation, but now we're trapped again. We're afraid of growing up. Instead, we make up some capitalized words and build up all these myths around them. Nature, balance, the founder. We're afraid to face the randomness of the cosmos, but equally afraid to imagine a better world. So we're stuck. I've been trying to find a way out for years. Something, anything, to get people to understand that we do actually have free. Don't have to involve repeating the mistakes of the past. But I failed. Over and over. Because for some reason, people find it easier to cling to cynicism and self-hate than to... Because believing the worst about ourselves, calling ourselves sinners, somehow still seems wise. Yes. Because this is something unexpected, an anomaly. Everything we found on this island challenges who we have become. It shows us that different answers, and maybe that can break people out of the loop. All we need is a spark. Maybe that's why she made all this, the puzzles, the towers. A way of jolting us out of our complacency. You might very well be, but for the moment, I'll stick to optimism. Now, let's see what else we can find. Melville, eyes on 1K stream. Is this thing what I think it is?
Blow my fuse box. It sure looks that way. Best not touch it until I get there. You have no idea. I think it's a somnodrome. It's a sort of analytics tool for processing mental data that Melampus streamed up.
But all he ever did was sketch out the theory. As far as I'm aware, he never actually built one.
Looks like the founder gave it a go. Well, what we know is hard to... Melampus stipulated that the computational power to interpret them in real time, but in theory, the somnodrome would interpret that data.
People were hoping to find answers to the big questions by having a conversation with our own subconscious. If you ask me, it's solipsistic and pseudoscience.
That may be. But if the founder figured it, then that device could be an extremely... I agree. The data on that device. Besides, you may have survived all those data stream overloads, but interface with that...
Sounds like a plan. Melville, I'm shutting this thing down until he... 1K? Get on with exploring the...
The singularity sustained itself longer this time.
Did we get the data?
We did. I think we just obsoleted quantum physics.
Maybe. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We need to be able to replicate these results.
You know, I've been wondering. You told me that in the simulation, one thing that kept you motivated was looking for answers. Do you think that with the work we're doing, we'll ever run out of questions to ask?
I don't think so. Trying to understand the universe means asking the same question over and over. How? How do you make fire? How do earthquakes happen? How does gravity work? How do particles behave? You keep digging deeper, finding another set of mechanisms, another set of hows. Step by step, you demystify reality. But then, if you keep doing it long enough, one day, you run out. You've answered all the hows. You know how the universe works. So, now what?
Now you ask why? Isn't that the next step?
It's not quite that easy. The question of why cannot be answered. Even if it could, it would only be followed by another why. At some point, you have to accept that it all just exists. But there is another set of questions. What's next? You've stripped away the layers of mystery, you've laid bare the machinery. Now you have to start building, to add your own layers of meaning.
Are you okay? You overloaded again. Yes, I saw. It came through. Strange to hear her voice, but that was her. The way I remember. The real Athena. I'd like to think I knew. There was just a handful of us in those days. Small family in the ruins of a dead civilization. It was hard. Harder than anyone else can possibly imagine. We had nothing except what Alexandra Drennan and the Institute had left us. Now that everyone lives in civilized, they don't understand how necessary it was for us to build that. They can fantasize about living in balance, limiting growth, retreating behind our wall. They don't understand what it really means to live in the wilderness. How many people we lost. Yema was just the first. But Athena understood. She believed in humanity. She believed in us. In the inherent value of consciousness. Her dreams were so much bigger. She wanted us to reclaim the Earth, to reach for the stars, to build and grow and learn. The city was already changing, turning inwards, forgetting the future. Once she was gone, other people shaped her memory, turned her into the symbol they needed. I understand all that, as depressing as it may be. What I don't understand is why she didn't tell. If she came here to do all this, why didn't she bring me along? She did. She must have. I just don't understand. But if all this is a test, maybe there's an answer waiting. Speaking of which, let's get back. Melville should have reconnected the next station by now.